Hello.
Hey everybody. Today's Mumble Squad is Receiver. This is a game that Josh loves very much, I would say.
True.
And he has played it a lot in the same way that I would say the same way that I've played Binding of Isaac a lot, but it's a similar kind of deal in that this is a game which has to be played over and over again and is very, very difficult. But he just found a cassette lying on the floor.
This guy's going to explain the story to us.
Why don't we listen to the cassette so that we have a place to start from?
If you recently started receiving, you may wonder why the training tapes are so important. Over the last several decades, your media has been slowly corrupted to be used against you. By feeding your mind a constant stream of damaging ideas, your view of reality has been warped to fit into a sinister agenda. How can one tape, listened to once, possibly have an impact on the face of a lifetime of accumulated deception? It can only have the smallest effect, but even that small effect can be built on. If you listen to that tape 100 times, you may notice a difference in how you feel. If you listen to the tape 1,000 times, you will be transformed, and if you listen to the tape 1,000,000 times, you will become more than human, an awake receiver. Listen to as many tapes as you can. Listen to them as often as you can.
So the main theme of this game is distinguishing signal from noise.
You may notice that Josh is having to shoot these motherfuckers right in the hinge.
I'm going for the batteries mainly.
Yeah, which is a difficult proposition, but he's been remarkably successful so far.
Ooh.
Oh, is he dead? Is he done?
One of these guys is still alive and possibly still able to kill me. I'm not sure which. I think it's the turret, yeah. Let's blind him.
Okay.
We'll leave him alive, but inert. It's the merciful route.
Perfect. I noticed that you refer to all of the robots as him.
That's, I suppose. There's another tape, but do you want to listen to another?
Yeah, pick up another tape.
Okay.
Do it.
You use technology to control physical things. Similarly, there is mind tech, which is used to control the boundless luminescence. Mind tech can be used for good or evil. The threat has been using its mind tech as a weapon against you, and so far has caused widespread sickness and mental weakness. Now that you are in a helpless state, they ready a crippling blow, mind kill. But they are aware that will not work on you. They have another potent weapon they will bring to bear against receivers, called the dreaming. They cannot exist fully in this reality, but they have been watching you and experimenting and have developed this new mind tech. The dreaming is a bridge from our world to yours, and they will use this bridge to send specially conceived of weapons designed to work in your environment. These automatic weapons are designed to kill the few who survive.
I think we can mute the tapes from here on out.
Yeah, really? You think so?
I love the tapes, but
See, I mean, this is essential to the vibe, I feel.
it's true, but if I do well in this run, we'll reach a point where the tapes are playing non-stop.
Ah, that's perfect. We should not mute the tapes then. This should be a glorious salad.
When you win this game, you get to see like a culty brochure saying like, have you ever suspected that there's a truth beyond this world, like a truth in this world beyond what you can see? But we just got another tape.
To this tape, it means you have survived the mind kill.
Yeah.
Previous
I'm gonna turn
attempts
you
to
off,
listen to
Mr.
this
Man.
tape would have found it blank, but now it.
And
Criminal.
Something Austin Walker said about this game's story is that it is nonsense taken seriously, which I think
It's true of so many stories.
Yes, it's true, but this game has a particularly delicious flavor of nonsense, in my opinion. Hello.
What is particularly delicious about it to you?
It comes in such a small package. It's just these 11 voice tapes that you encounter in a random order. But it is not afraid in that amount of time to just go full on crazy.
Absolutely. And the voice is perfect.
Yeah.
The voice is absolutely perfect. I really enjoy it.
It says things like when discussing the various levels of reality that you're trying to be rescued from, like it says if you're encountering this within a fictional context, then you're on an even deeper level.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of tasty. And it also does the work of explaining why we're in this bizarre, low poly residential complex with nobody here except stupid machines.
And the 90s aesthetic.
Yeah. like the world we're exploring here is supposed to be crude, you know. That's,
Yeah.
but also, as I said before, it's about signal and noise. There's kind of a theme that we've been. Oh Jesus! I think his camera's dead. Okay.
All right.
There's an implication that we've been. Well, okay, not an implication. So, put it this way: I think it reflects the idea that we've internalized a shallow set of gun mechanics, and in that way, kind of stopped us from thinking about guns as we encounter them in video games. And this game, as I said in a piece elsewhere,
You see that guy? Good job.
as I said in a piece elsewhere, this game kind of forces the gun to be the subject, which is uncomfortable, I think, in a good way. But it's also a game where it's possible to kill yourself with a gun. Phew. And that guy, of course, just very nearly killed us. So,
how do you kill yourself with a gun?
if I shot, granted it's an edge case, but it has happened to me by accident.
Yeah.
If I shot this wall, the bullet would probably ricochet.
And kill you?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't have any clips on my gun, really? Okay. I don't remember making that mistake. Good thing I noticed. Hello.
Whoa.
As you can see, the enemies are only lethal if they catch us off guard, really. Oops. Ugh, Jesus Christ. So what are your feelings?
Well, the idea, of course, being that this is a game where you're struggling to bring tiny details to consciousness,
Yes.
and thus it is about the tiny details,
Yes.
which means that it's a familiar environment scraped of all of its unnecessary detail.
Yeah. And it made slightly surreal. Yes. I don't know what the deal with these.
What those rock occlusions are.
Yeah. Let's just. Hello.
Good job. The object of the game, of course, is to become enlightened, which is a pretty good
In an
endpoint for any video game to have, I think.
And it's a pretty decent metaphor for the struggle you're going to have with these weapon handling mechanics. Not to say that mastering these mechanics is a tantamount to enlightenment, but you do feel like you have, you've gone through something. You've encountered a fluency which previously seemed unattainable. And as you listen to more tapes, this Hindu chant gets a bit louder, which is maybe a little on the tasteless side.
Yeah.
But we like the original considerations.
I like the vibe. I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Woo!
Whoa, okay. It is that lovely thing, which is a strong vibe attained with minimal technical investment
Yes.
and minimal cost, which is the kind of art that I want to see.
Yeah, this game was originally made in a week, and then they patched
And
it a
then
couple
polished
times, but still not a lot of time has gone into this game, and it shows. Like, a curious relationship you forge with this game is that you become aware of the seams and start making use of them. Like, tapes and turrets can only spawn in particular kinds of places. Of course, quite a lot of places. Like these 3 locations in this room are not the only 3 possible locations in this room. But there are times when that knowledge leads to you, skipping rooms entirely because you know that only turrets and no tapes can spawn there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, that's pretty much the roguelike experience because there are only so many different kinds of room, even in something like a Binding of Isaac or a
Right.
and you know pretty much what you're likely to encounter.
But it is like that feeling where you're forging a deeper understanding, one where you can kind of read the one where you can kind of read the signs before they are.
It's an interesting sort of point of mastery because the idea behind randomly generated games like this is that you are developing a vocabulary of action.
Yeah,
and
this is a dangerous room.
Moving to be able to use that in a variety of situations, and so it's teaching you a skill rather than having you memorize, a thing until you can beat it.
Yeah.
But the fact is that those two acts are
Similar.
yes, there's a lot of overlap there, and
Yeah.
if you play a game like this enough, because there's no such thing as actual randomization
Yeah.
within our grasp,
Yeah.
within the grasp of something like this, you also, I think the real change in your skill level sets in as you begin to memorize iterations,
Yeah.
which is, on the one hand, something of a bummer, because it gives the lie to that sort of basic idea.
Yes.
But,
at the same time, there's a particular beauty to that kind of interaction,
Yeah.
which I think this game, if not understands, at least brings out quite beautifully.
And in terms of the honesty of it, there is something in the way that there are only so many different kinds of interaction
Yeah.
in the world outside as well, if you know what I mean. Woo-ka.
We're actually in the midst of a pretty good run here.
Yeah, no, this is... if you hadn't noticed, this is a very difficult game, and Josh is demonstrating something akin to mastery here. Look at the way he duck walks around these corners, knowing that turrets could possibly spawn.
Not turrets,
Whoa.
more like tapes and ammo. It's necessary to look inside all of those cubbies,
Yeah.
and that is the little. And also, it didn't used to be possible for me to run this game on the max settings that made these lights show up, and they're extremely helpful. And the beautiful thing is when you see the shadow of another turret cast in these lights. Like, the thing about this game is that it's extremely poorly optimized, because every light, including the one I just destroyed, but also this red one, and every light source in this room, and there are rooms with many more light sources than this, they are painting that light onto the wall every frame. The sensible thing to do would be to refresh that light when the light's state changes.
But no.
I think the mod I'm running might actually solve that problem, but regardless, I finally have a computer powerful enough to run it normally, even on the unmodded version, and it has upped my game. So in a way, this game was meant to be played in the future, which it now is. No tapes in this. Oh yes, one tape in this room. Perfect. We've been in that state. You can tell because this man has just never stopped singing.
Yeah.
And
if we turned on the voice would never stop voicing.
yes, exactly. We only need like a couple more tapes, and I think this would actually get us pretty close to the minimum possible time to clear receiver. If we can just find a couple more in the next room. There are time people like if this game had a serious speedrun community, which it does not, I think it would be time took to find the 11th tape that they'd pay attention to. But still, I want to set my fucking personal best time. Let's do it.
Doing that on camera is the hell of a way to announce your presence in the
nothing.
world. See,
we just need one more tape, I think.
it's interesting to me. One of the things that has always been interesting to me, which if you go back and watch old episodes of this channel, on the channel. Oh God!
He was still alive.
That was a good run.
What a way to die.
I think for
Let's carry on.
let's carry on. You gonna carry on?
Yeah, it's a short episode. Do you
All
want
right,
to?
all right. Yeah, no,
You were saying something.
Carry on. One of the things that's interesting to me watching this is like Josh never gets lost.
Well, I did make one. I did get turned around once upon a time.
But like that is baffling to me because I never took the time or was habituated in the right way, or maybe just do not have,
God, those guys, dude. 3 hits, no kills.
just not have the particular knack to really feel comfortable in a 3D environment in video games.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they're very simple here. I don't know if you've noticed, but this world generates in one direction, infinitely that way and infinitely that way.
yeah, but I hadn't noticed, which is part of the deal. I mean,
Yeah.
part of it is because you've learned the rules of this world
Sure.
to exhaustion, but
And there are 3 vertical layers.
but it's interesting, like comparing the fluency of the game, of the way that the fluency that I have in the games that I play obsessively, and comparing it with Josh's fluency in the games that he plays obsessively.
Yeah, how would you compare them?
There is, I think, a different emotional quality in the omniscient view versus the first-person view. Like, the moment of flow is, the moment of flow, no matter how it's expressed.
Sure.
Like I had my best ever Gungeon run last night, and I was untouchable for parts of it, and ways that would be freaky if I thought about them. But it's also, what I'm doing what I'm doing that is map reading as a man looking at a map.
Yeah.
Whereas you were map reading as a person who is inside a map.
Yeah. Oh, I'm hit, I think. I'm not hit. Okay. Could have swore. Oh, this is a particularly nasty arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tape, though. Who sees me? He sees me. See that slick reload?
Yeah.
Excellent. Go on. Well, don't go on. I think you got your point across.
I did get my point across. Tape 2.
Yeah, that's interesting. Inside a map.
Tape 3.
It's funny. This is an old kind of conversation between us because I've always thought it strange that Isaac has difficulty navigating a 3D video game environment.
Because I navigate 3D environments all the time in real
Yes,
life.
yes, exactly.
And I don't get lost easily. Like
No.
in the real world, I am actually pretty good at navigating.
Yes, but of course
And-
I can understand, right? Like, I have so many spare bullets, which allows me to change the lighting conditions in this room. Wonderful, beautiful. I'm doing art. With lacking a sense of bodily kinesthetics, I can without that inner ear assistance, I suppose oh God!
You did not do so well that time.
And this game is particularly strange in its sense of having a body, right? Because you need to be cautious about where you're putting your jangly limbs, and the way to run is to tap W multiple times, which is an easy thing to do by accident.
Yeah.
Just tapping W twice causes you to take a big lunge forward that you can't stop, and the fall of distance for a lethal drop is very, very small. Ooh. Anyway, let's call this the last run, yes?
Yeah, I think so. It's getting to about that point.
All right. Thank you for I figured we visited Isaac's special hell.
Yeah.
And welcome to my I wouldn't call it my special hell, but it is kind of the purgatorial death dimension that I like to visit.
Yeah, exactly. And textually, yours is a seeking after enlightenment, whereas mine is a increasing downward burial.
Yeah.
It's a sort of an interesting thing. You know what? Actually, no. I'll save that conversation because I think we'll actually play Enter the Gungeon on this channel.
Okay.
And so I'll talk about the particular plot considerations it has at that point. But
Sure.
a really good roguelike.
Oh no.
That was the last run.
Yeah, I would
A really good roguelike acknowledges how fucking purgatorial it all is.
Yeah, and it's
there
funny.
are multiple ways to do that, but none of it is going to be particularly affirming. I wonder if it's possible to make a roguelike that is optimistic.
I wonder. I wouldn't it's funny because I'm not sure I would call Receiver a particularly good roguelike, but it is a particularly good game. In a purely design sense, its roguelike is strikingly repetitive, and but it just goes back to our favorite conversation these days, which is that repetitive things are great and boring things are awesome, and I love the worst things ever.
Look at those bullets gleaming on the floor.
Watch me pick all of this up at the same time. Cool.
Satisfying.
All right, gang. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.